Hello friends! Old photographs have a unique energy that is capable of transporting us to eras and moments that seem to have long been forgotten. When we look at such pictures, they evoke powerful emotions and feelings within us. Some of them bring about nostalgia, making us reminisce about happy moments and significant events in our lives. Other photos can trigger feelings of melancholy or sadness, reminding us of people and times that are no longer with us. However, regardless of the emotions they evoke, these old photographs serve as historical evidence, capturing moments that now only exist in pictures. They allow us to peer into the past and see how people lived, what they achieved, and what their joys and sorrows were. In this video, we will dive into the fascinating world of old photographs to learn more about people, places, and events of the past. There is an opinion that the current trend of taking selfies has given rise to a whole army of Darwin Award contenders. However, photography has always driven people to do crazy things. For example, this photo session of the roof of the Berlin Cathedral in 1926. The theft of Leonardo da Vinci's painting Mona Lisa happened in 1911 and became the crime of the century. The press echoed the nightmarish loss, publishing new details and lists of suspects in the dastardly act every day. The theft of the century was attributed to professional burglars, collectors, anarchist revolutionaries, government agencies, perennial enemies of the French, the Germans, led by Emperor Wilhelm II, and even the director of the Louvre, who was unfortunate enough to have stated in the interview shortly before the incident that stealing the Mona Lisa was about as doable as stealing the bells of the Notre Dame Cathedral, the spot on the gallery wall in the Cour Carrée of the Louvre Museum in Paris, where the Mona Lisa was displayed until its theft in 1911. It turns out that part of the runway at the Idlewild Airport in Queens, New York, passed directly over a highway. So the drivers often stopped to watch the Boeing 377 Stratocruiser taking off. This photo was taken in 1951. An Egyptian street vendor selling mummies in 1865. Children from Guiglia, a small village in the Apennine Mountains, had to cross the Panaro River using a pulley and rope to get to school in the valley. Modena Province, northern Italy, 1959. The nuclear explosion over Nagasaki on August 9, 1945. The photo was taken 20 minutes after the explosion from the neighboring island of Shimoshima, 20 kilometers from the epicenter. A photograph from Tegucigalpa, Honduras in 1916. The image shows the damage caused on the Malol Bridge during flooding. An aviation incident that occurred on July 28, 1945, when a heavy B-25 Mitchell bomber, piloted by a crew over New York City in the thick fog, collided with the Empire State Building. The crash did not compromise the building's structural integrity, but resulted in the deaths of 14 people and an estimated $1 million worth of damage. People brought their pets to be put down because they couldn't afford the increased tax on pets. Berlin, 1926. Over 100 fans of the local football club Persebaya crammed into the cargo bed and were enjoying the free ride home, swaying and waving flags, celebrating their team's victory. Suddenly, their movements caused one of the 24 military trucks provided for transportation to flip over. Literally 1 kilometer from the stadium. Most passengers remained unharmed, but 12 of them were hospitalized with minor injuries. Kediri, East Java, Indonesia, 1995. Emotions of the young women at the Beatles concert, Plymouth, 1963. Danish zookeeper spraying water on emperor penguins on a hot summer day in Copenhagen, 1957. Describing the 1960s, American history textbooks provided detailed accounts of the economic boom in the United States and rising incomes. There are also pages about the aspect that modern Americans aren't too proud of, the Vietnam War. But this picture is certainly not in the textbooks. During this war, some of the hottest Hollywood beauties willingly went to Vietnam to boost the morale of American soldiers. In this particular shot, we see actress Raquel Welch dancing on stage in a daring miniskirt. And gentlemen, let's be frank, this dance could uplift not only the soldiers' spirits, but even the stock market. Women at the most elegant style of smoking competition in Paris, 1932. A squad of professional rat catchers during the bubonic plague outbreak in Sydney, 1900. Anne Margaret is an actress and dancer who also participated in such performances. Judging by her attire, she had several concerts on different bases. The actress also paid visits to hospitals with wounded soldiers. There was no shortage of those during the war, but her primary activity was, of course, performing in front of the audience. Frankly speaking, any woman would pique interest in military men, but when such a beauty was singing in front of them, a young soldier undoubtedly got a tremendous boost of morale. One can only imagine how enthusiastically the guys watched these concerts. Giants Anna Haining Bates and Martin Van Buren Bates. This woman from Canada became famous for her height of 243 centimeters. Anna's parents were of average height and no different from the others. The girl weighed 7 kilograms at birth. At the age of 16, she was offered a job with the Barnum and Bailey Circus, where she had a successful career. It was also where a fateful encounter took place. While on tour, Anna fell in love with the giant Martin Van Buren Bates, who was 241 centimeters tall and also performed in public. Unfortunately, Anna could not bear and give birth to healthy children. Out of grief, the couple moved far away from the city and settled in the countryside, where the woman died of tuberculosis. After her death, Martin remarried. A photo of 2 NASA engineers inside a hangar the size of a 10-story building, containing blocks with flaps that guide the airflow around an aerodynamic tube at the Ames Research Center in 1960, USA. The Hollywood sign was constructed as an advertisement in the Hollywood Hills of Los Angeles, California in 1923. It later became widely recognized, virtually becoming the symbol of the US film industry. The rescue of a crew member from the French fishing trawler Jean Gouguet, which ran aground near Land's End. 12 people, including the captain, perished. Cornwall, England, November 3, 1962. Infant gas mask. After World War I, during which gas attacks became prevalent, people started thinking about how to effectively combat them. In March 1939, a special gas mask for babies under 2 years old was released. History textbooks have many pictures of soldiers in gas masks, but you won't find such pictures of an infant there. Japanese schoolgirls posing for a photo during a military training session where a military instructor teaches them how to properly handle weapons. 1930s. The kiss of life. A worker performing artificial respiration on a colleague after he touched a high-voltage wire. 1967. Cambridge students at a protest against admitting women to the university. The female figure on the bicycle is a symbol of feminism. The effigy is about to be burned. Britain, 1897. Dancers from the island of Lefkos in Greece performing a barrel dance during the International Folklore Festival, 1963. 13 sisters from the Brooks family looking at their only brother, Leslie Benjamin, after his home birth in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, USA, 1954. an acoustic guidance system for anti-aircraft artillery, Germany, 1939. A group of German firefighters with blindfolds learning to locate the source of sound in the dark during a building fire. It appears that 3 of them will pass the test, while 1 is likely to fail. This photo is from 1940. Chung Yu-young, the founder of Hyundai, was born into a poor peasant family in what is now North Korea. In 1998, he sent 1,001 cows to his hometown in North Korea as a 1,000-fold compensation for a cow he had stolen and sold in the early 1930s to afford a train ticket to Seoul to escape poverty. Man with mice. He was a very strange man. He was known as Snowy in Cambridge, and he really wanted his pictures taken. He looked at the photographer with wide blue eyes and put a live mouse into his mouth. Photographer Don McCullin, Cambridge, Britain, 1973. Prince Charles and Princess Diana during their vacation in the Bahamas in 1982. A German Heinkel HE-111H bomber on an airfield with signs of damage from anti-aircraft fire sustained during a nighttime mission to bomb London. One of the few fortunate ones from the Kampfgeschwader 77 squadron to return home. Schmeiflige lost 34 aircraft that day, 1940. Friends, that's all for today. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.